Where is Star Wars Battlefront 3? The newest iteration of the Battlefront games came out in 2015, and then 2 years later in 2017. And since then, it's been radio silence when it comes to the next installment of Star Wars Battlefront. I'm a big fan of both of those games. Battlefront 2015 felt a lot more arcadey, and I enjoyed that. I'm a big original trilogy fan, so I had a lot of fulfillment with that game. Understandably, a lot of prequel fans felt left behind. Battlefront 2 in 2017, in my opinion, did everything right. They continued with a lot of new updates, a lot of free content. They added more eras, more characters and units from the prequel era and beyond. They gave a different era of fan, prequel era fans, something to play and be excited about when it comes to, their love of the Star Wars franchise. So what about a Battlefront 3? Why has it been 7 years since Battlefront 2 came out and we haven't heard a single thing? Is it a missed opportunity? Are they working on it? Are they just getting their ducks in a row? Well, EA no longer has exclusive rights to the Star Wars franchise to make video games. That's why we're getting games from like Ubisoft and, some other studios, other publishers. I don't know the legality of the Battlefront franchise. I'm assuming EA still has exclusive rights to that franchise. At least that's what I would assume. And after the 2 installments, there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot of great ideas that they could implement into a Star Wars Battlefront 3. The community has spoken. The developers were themselves prequel fans from the ones that I've talked to. And there's a lot of different eras in the Star Wars universe, and and now there's different generations of Star Wars fans, and the ultimate goal is to make a game that encompasses the love of what everybody has in this fandom and their own individual likes and wants and wishes. I mean, in a perfect world, that's what we'd want. So a Battlefront 3, what would I personally want? First of all, I would love a server browser. I've said this for years with both Battlefront games. It's hard to believe 2015 was almost 10 years ago. That's when Battlefront 2015 came out. That's mind-blowing to me. But I would love a server browser to be able to host my own server, customize my server the way I wanted, map rotations, whatnot. To me, that's like the biggest thing that I would want in a Battlefront 3. Make it almost more like an old school, early 2000s, mid 2000s, like PC gaming lobby, and put a lot of the creation and community in the hands of the community. Mods, server browser, that kind of stuff. You cultivate a community within a community, and your game has more longevity. There's so much content. There's so much new Star Wars even to be mined from to put into a new installment of Battlefront 3. I'm not the biggest fan of the Ahsoka show, but it would be cool as hell to be able to run around as Ahsoka and see Ahsoka on the battlefield. I would absolutely love. I'm not a fan of the Ahsoka show. I'll say that. I love the character in the Clone Wars. I'll say that. And to see live action Ahsoka running around in a Star Wars Battlefront 3 would be incredible. Split it in thirds. Sequel era, prequel era, original trilogy era. Pepper in a lot of the offshoot franchise stuff. Like, imagine running and gunning in the Andor prison. Imagine that. A prison break game mode where a group would be the Empire and another team would be the prisoners. And it would almost be like tower defense, where the Galactic Empire has to hold their ground and the prisoners have to keep waves and waves of themselves coming until they eventually break out. Something like that would be incredible. And if that's not made by the official teams, I mean, like I said before, allow mods and allow server browsers and allow customization like that for community creation. There's no doubt in my mind that somebody would make that and do one hell of a job doing it. There's so many wonderful ideas out there for unique gameplay styles and modes and whatnot. And I would love for the third installment of Battlefront to, have the normal game modes like Blast and Conquest and, stuff like that. But also, I want weird modes. Like they did Ewok Hunt. I'm not a fan of that mode. I've played it a few times, but I love that it exists. It's unique. It's different. Things like that. I would love to see the reintroduction of cargo, like a capture the flag game mode. That was always my favorite in 2015's Battlefront. I would love to see that back. But unfortunately, right now, there's no word on a Battlefront 3. It's kind of radio silent. And I'd be very surprised if it weren't already in the works or wasn't talked about, at least. It's a very popular franchise. You know, Star Wars is still popular, especially video games in Star Wars. And it's been 7 years since the last Battlefront installment. And in my brain, 7 years isn't that long. You know, time moves faster the older you get. I'm almost 40. So 7 years doesn't seem that long. But when you sit down and think about it, it is kind of a long time for a popular franchise, a topical franchise, a franchise that's still putting out a lot of, you know, shows and you know, soon to be movies, to not have another installment. Now, they're working on other things, obviously. You know, we're having Fallen Order. We had Survivor come out. So maybe the resources are being directed into different directions, which makes sense, which is fine. I'm not one to, like, get mad about there not being a Battlefront 3 or any kind of announcement. You know, I'm pretty patient when it comes to this stuff, and I recognize that things take time and they want to get things right, and there's other projects that they want to work on, other franchises and their, you know, that they have to put out games for and updates for. So I understand that, you know, the things that we love, Star Wars and Battlefront, they're not always going to have all the resources directed at them, you know. So I'm not one to get mad or angry or pissy or disappointed even that there's not a Battlefront 3 on the horizon. Will it happen? Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that it will happen. In the grand scheme of things, I firmly believe that in the next 5, 10, whatever years, a Battlefront 3 will be announced and released. I'd be very surprised. If I was a gambling man, which I'm not, I would put all of my money down on that being the case. Now, if that didn't happen, I think I'd be a little bummed out. But yeah, we have games that we're playing. We have Star Wars games that we're playing. We can play 2015. We can play 2017. We have Fallen Order. We have Outlaws coming out from Ubisoft. We have other Star Wars games on the horizon to kind of wet our whistle and keep us satiated with our Star Wars video gaming. So it's okay. It's all right. You know, some people are constantly complaining that there's not a Battlefront 3 coming out, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but, you know, things take time, and I recognize that all the eggs can't be put into one basket. Maybe they're working on it and planning on it to release, you know, in conjunction with a movie or something like that, you know, a big Star Wars movie release once again in the theater, and another Battlefront game. So there's coordination involved with a lot of this stuff as well. So, you know, as video gamers, as Star Wars fans, back in the day, there used to be a lot more Star Wars games. Things change. It's all right. We just kind of have to be patient, right? I mean, what else can you do? I don't know. No reason to pump out a lot of videos about being disappointed that Battlefront 3 is not announced or coming out. Eventually it will. And all those videos about you where you complained about it not coming out over the past few years, they're going to look silly, and you're going to be excited when it does get announced to come out. I don't know, man. Like, just sit back, enjoy the ride, play some other Star Wars games, and just be patient. Because, you know, Star Wars, especially movies and stuff like that, they used to take a long time to come out. We weren't saturated with a lot of Star Wars stuff. Yeah, we had a lot of video games, but that was about it. And I don't know, things are just different. What am I even talking about, man? I just wanted to hop on here and talk about Battlefront 3, because sometimes I see people post about, like, why isn't there a Battlefront 3? Why isn't there a Battlefront 3? And in my head, I'm like, you know, let's just be patient. I know it's been 7 years, but sequels to franchises often take a long time. Sometimes they come out 2 years apart, like 2015 and 2017. Just like the original Battlefronts did, you know, they came out really close. I think they were only a year after each other, right? That's crazy to me. In my head, that's not enough time. So, you know, give them some time. Let them work out the kinks. And hopefully they'll get a game out in the not too distant future that we can all appreciate and be like, hell yeah, they learned from the mistakes. They gave every generation of Star Wars fan a little something to enjoy in the grand scheme of things of a Star Wars Battlefront 3, you know. So, anyway, man, Be hopeful, be optimistic, and don't get bummed out that it doesn't exist yet. Just be patient. Have fun. See ya.